good seniors and on the perimeter with Monte Naz and Matt. That was obviously one of our points of emphasis in this class. This needs to be a good class, for the future of our program, and we're off to a really good start. Lindell, obviously, really talented, makes people better, can really score, great athlete at that position. I think we're getting more athletic on the perimeter, which is great. Darius McNeil, can play either guard spot, super quick. A guy that's just he's got a bright future. His upside, I think, is really, really high. Competitive, another guy, really long arms, lanky, going to really fill into his body. And then Terrence, excited about him. He's a guy that can really, really make shots, get out, run the wing, put pressure on the defense, but really good size at the wing position. A guy that could, fill in. Nader had great size at the three, and Terrence is a guy that can get here and really fill his body out and become one of those really big wing, offensive and defensive standouts.
How critical was that point guard position, and then to get somebody the caliber of Lindell, and how
it's really
crucial is that?
I think you got to have great guards, and I think we've got, Terrence. I would consider Terrence a, guard / wing, but I think we've got two really good guards in Lindell and Darius. But to get Lindell into our program, going forward is huge. He's a freshman. He's a guy that can come on campus day one and that's ready to compete physically, mentally, just from the competition that he's used to going against at Oak Hill for the last 3 years. And he's a guy that's, if you talk to Coach Smith up there, he's gotten better and better over his last 3 years. One of his most improved guys that he's coached, and so really happy with him and excited, to coach him.
So you're starting point guard a year from Friday?
Yeah, I'm not. I can't go into all that stuff.
Once he committed, how hard did you have to work on it? Because there were people trying to flip him. Right? Am I right or wrong?
I probably talk to him every day. I don't know if I missed a day, probably.
Yeah.
Now he's in the mountains in Virginia, so he doesn't get much service. So, it's really a text conversation. I probably every day since April, since we first found out about him and heard about him. And, our staff did a great job of, being persistent, building really good relationships with his family. His family's great people. Coach Smith was great in the process, and so, we're ecstatic to have him here.
Were other people trying to flip him?
Forward in terms of building what you hope to do at Iowa State?
I think it's huge. It's, I think to be a great program over the longevity, and this player program over the last 5 years has had great players. The fifth-year guys that's come in here, the transfers, the junior college kids. But when you really look at the main stage, who do you think about? Melvin Ejim, Niang, Monte Morris, just to name a few. Those guys have been here through 4 or 5 years, to where you get those good high school kids in here that are going to be here and get better and get better and get better, and then you add your necessities through the junior college ranks, through transfers, through fifth year. And so to get good high school players in your program is huge. And now, now we got to go address, Cameron's coming at Christmas, and then we've got to go, what this does is hopefully it shows some front court guys, hey, I got a chance to go in and play with some really, really good guards.
In June, you said that maybe it's a little daunting with 6 scholarships. And how much is this lesson that in order to get 3 guys signed early, then what do you want now in this late
Well, I think going forward, obviously our first is to bring in a couple guys up front that can score, rebound, and defend around the basket, and bring some skill up front. Obviously we lose some good front court players as well, but to get the really the bulk of the recruiting from the perimeter done. We may take a transfer in the spring, things like that, but get the bulk of the recruiting done in that area is big. And now our points emphasis all go to the front court, whether that's fifth year, whether that's junior college, or whether there's a high school kid, out there that can still come in and help us.
Do you anticipate being done in the early signing period, or
one more could possibly. That's kind of a wait and see. Am I allowed to say? But you follow it close enough, I'm sure you know. So, we'll wait and see what happens on that. But outside of that, we'll probably at a standstill after that, and then just get ready for the spring.
When kids do commit to you, do you have a rule that says, okay, you're committed to me, you're not going to make any more visits anywhere?
Yeah. That's just kind of that's how it should work. That's how that's why I said once you don't commit, unless you're all in. If that's what your heart wants.
if you found out a kid committed to you, but yet you discover that he's visiting, I don't care where,
Yeah.
Louisville, Mississippi, I don't care where, you're done with it.
I wouldn't say that. I would never say that.
Okay.
But that's I don't want to get into too many particulars, but
Yeah.
Recruiting's recruiting, so you got to recruit to the very end. That's why I'm ecstatic to get these three guys on board and get ready to coach them next year.
Do the 2 or 3 extra scholarships, do those need to be not high school kids just to even out the classes?
I
do you
would
think?
take, like I said, I'd take one more high school front court guy, but then I think everything else going forward is from the junior college, 5th year, transfer ranks.